Hi, it's Bryson here, out in nature, as I love. It is a gorgeous day. We are in the home stretch of winter. It is a sunny, beautiful day. You see there's snow on the ground, but the temperature outside is absolutely lovely. I don't even think I can see my breath, or I haven't seen my breath outside yet today. I've even seen a few insects flying around. So as much as I love winter time, I am very much looking forward to spring coming. We have a little interesting bushcraft structure here that someone was so kind enough to construct, and I think that's where I'm going to sit to record this video. So the theme of the video that I'm recording today, it's going to be a magic mushroom video. I know a lot of people are curious about magic mushrooms nowadays. And what I want to talk about is something that I refer to as entering the Tesseract when I am on magic mushrooms, also known as psilocybin mushrooms. And the reason why I call it the Tesseract is, for anybody who doesn't know, a Tesseract is a four-dimensional cube. And it is also, if you remember the movie Interstellar, it was the name of a piece of technology. And the reason why I use the Tesseract is that the idea that they were trying to get to in the movie is kind of like the experience that I'm going to speak about. Although, of course, due to the limitations of this world and its ability to explain the psychedelic experience, it can't quite possibly get to what it is. But I'm going to do my best to try to explain what I'm talking about. And so what I mean when I say entering the Tesseract, I'm talking about when I go into very deep meditation while on magic mushrooms. And excuse me. When I go into these deep meditations, I'm shown a lot about myself and, how I relate to this world, and how everybody that I meet relates to this unique, bizarre, strange, and quite frankly absurd experience that we are all going to, as wonderful and interesting as it is. So I'm going to basically go through a couple of experiences that I've had. Now, to set the scene, when I go into these deep meditations on magic mushrooms, generally I use a relatively low dosage, like 1.2 grams or lower. Oftentimes I will be in darkness. Sometimes I'll have headphones on with meditation music on, like the 432 hertz and things like that. And they reveal a lot, to me when I go into this realm, And so one story that I'd like to share that I experienced through one of my magic mushroom meditation experiences was one where I was shown who Bryson is. So my egoic identity that I am temporarily assuming in the three-dimensional world. And I want to preface this by getting whoever is listening to this to understand that I was not told this in any sort of language that would be spoken in the three-dimensional world. I was shown and impressed upon with meaning. So one of the experiences I had was where, about finding out who Bryson is, I was sitting quietly meditating, and all of a sudden, in my mind, keep in mind I had my eyes closed, I saw a crystal. And then I was told by the mushroom, "This is Bryson." Now, like I said, it wasn't any sort of voice. It was just the implied meaning. This is Bryson, the crystal. And so then, in my field of vision within this trip, I panned back. And then there were other crystals lined up. And then it panned back more. And then that row of crystals that Bryson was in was on top of another crystal. And then that backed out. And that was another row of crystals. And then it just kept fractaling back basically infinitely. And what this basically told me was that this egoic identity that I think I am is nothing more, as I've learned through just other forms of meditation, is nothing more than just one of the infinite emanations of the one consciousness that we all are. Because as I began to fractal back in this field of vision, I realized that, okay, well, Bryson is way in this fractaling session or whatever, on a crystal in a row of crystals on top of another row of another crystal that's in a row of crystals, fractaling in infinitely. So if Bryson is deep in there, along with all of these other crystals who represent all of the other identities and entities that we know of in this realm, and I'm still observing this, well, then obviously my true self is not this egoic identity that I call Bryson. And so it was a very, although I knew that my true self is a part of the infinite consciousness that we all are a part of, that has always been, always will be, it was a great visualization, and not just a visualization, but a feeling. Thank you, bird. That's a lovely ambiance. And so that is what I basically gained from that visual, is just a demonstration of who we all are, who I am, and the recognition that while we choose to assume roles in this stage play called life, that we all, at the end of the day, are a part of the one. Many of you who are watching this probably have heard of the law of one. And just one thing that I forgot to mention, just as far as trying to describe what I would say going into the Tesseract is the experience of going into the Tesseract under these meditations under magic mushrooms. It is almost like, and once again, because the psychedelic experience is hard to explain in this three-dimensional realm, this is not an exact explanation, but it's almost like going into a 4D art gallery / stage show. And so another experience that I had one time on magic mushrooms was one where I was just sitting and I was relaxing. I was listening to some meditation music. It was completely dark. I had my eyes closed. And then within my field of vision, I was seeing all kinds of wonderful colors just swirling in on each other. Like, I would describe it as like a fluid stained glass mirror that was like twisting all in on itself. It was making shapes that were kind of almost like butterflies and looping in on itself. And I was just sitting there, just really just enjoying myself and just enjoying the moment, enjoying the experience. And then at one point, I allowed some of my negative egoic thoughts to creep in. And these egoic thoughts they involved some of the various political beliefs or philosophical beliefs that I have that have caused me to have conflicts with others in this world. And I began to actually get a little upset because I was just beginning to remind myself, instead of just remaining present in the beautiful moment of experiencing this beautiful presentation that the mushrooms were giving me, I decided to go into this dark realm and get into the fruitless egoic realm. Because anyone who's watching this video is probably beginning to realize that the ego lives in a realm in which its issues can never be resolved. Because in this three-dimensional realm that we live in, dualism is just the law of this world, of this world where this ego lives, which is, the ego is nothing more than just a series of of false attachments that you've made, and all of those attachments that you attach to all are opposed diametrically by an equally powerful dualism. And when I got into these dualistic, egoistic thoughts, the tone went from this very beautiful artistic experience to a very dark one. And the way I can describe it is I started seeing visuals that were almost like a cement wall of a cell, and on the walls there were like scratches from like claw marks and like those little etches from people, you know, writing the lines for numbers on the walls. And then all of a sudden I started, and this is where I get into the whole stage play part, the stage show part. I started seeing a stage where like curtains went back, and there were like these demonic entities. The only thing I can describe, they were like these entities that were wearing masks that looked very demonic. And they were just like doing this kind of like ballet and dancing around. And once I realized this was happening, I'm like, whoa, wait a minute here. I'm creating this misery. And what this experience showed me is that, like all of these shamans, monks, theologians, and other, you know, philosophers have been trying to talk about for millennia throughout human history, is that we truly do create our experience in this world, because it's not about what happens to us, it's how we respond to what happens to us. And we create our own hellish experiences by looking to the ego for solutions to our problems, and that causes the suffering. And then once I realized that, I then started getting away from those thoughts. And then an interesting thing happened as I was trying to get back into the heavenly realm of the beautiful stained glass butterflies twirling in on each other. I felt this dark energy trying to reach out to me and bring me back. And it was like tentacles that were trying to come at me. And so I was seeing visuals of tentacles. And so it was pretty, it was pretty powerful. And so I just wanted to just share a couple of my experiences that I call going into the Tesseract, going into the art gallery slash stage show, that really is continuing to bring me along my spiritual path, and bringing me to a point of understanding that I have the power to create the reality that I live in. We all do, because every single person on this planet, every single creature on this planet is an emanation of the same one consciousness playing out a scenario. It's like a stage play movie thing, video game thing is kind of how I describe it. And so I really hope that this little brief discussion about some of my internal experiences with magic mushrooms, meditating on magic mushrooms, helps anyone in their spiritual journey, and helps them understand how much control you really do have to your over your experience here, and you truly do control. While bad things, of course, are always going to happen and good things are going to happen, you have control whether this experience here, this brief, temporary, transitory experience that you have here on earth, is going to be heaven or hell. And so I'm doing everything I can to make it heaven. And that's why I come out here into nature and experience all of this beauty and all of this wonder, which is all just a projection of what is inside of me. Because like everything in this world, this nature is dualistically linked. Because do you have beauty without a beholder? Of course not. So the beauty that I see here, and the beauty that anyone who's watching this video sees, is actually you looking inside of yourself. I want to thank you for taking the time to listen to my video, watch my video, and please subscribe. I will continue to upload a lot of information and material. We're all in this together. Humanity will win. What is going on the planet is not going to destroy us. We're going to get through this together, because we are the one. we are the one. God bless you all, and have a good one.